Gift and Home channel. My name is Cinda Baxter. I'm the owner of Details, Inc., buying stationery, invitations, and gifts in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the ride we're about to go on is on the internet. So plug in, turn on, and get ready. When you look at the internet and you look at websites, if it's your first steps in that direction, you're going to be quickly overwhelmed. There is every possible size, shape, and configuration out there. Essentially, you need to kind of decide what sort of a site it is that you think you need. There's what I call a billboard site, which is essentially a single page. Here's who we are, here's how to contact us. Or there are informational sites where we get into more depth and don't do any kind of direct selling. That particular kind is what we have. 47 pages, lots of information, but nothing is sold direct online. And then there's e-tailing, where you go in, you have product, you show product, and you allow customers to interact with the site in a way that they can purchase and have the product shipped. You need to decide also how you want to work hand in hand with your vendors. You need to be able to link to the vendors, and you want your vendors to link back to you. That's critically important in how you're going to pop up in Google searches or Yahoo searches. And you want to also consider, when you look at the internet, how you're going to bring email into the picture. Is it just going to be a way for customers to get a hold of you? Or is it going to be something you're going to use for marketing, where you'll be sending out information about new products or specials or events that you have coming up in the store? You want to be sure when you're looking at an email campaign that you're using what's called permission-based email. And what that means is that your customer has given you permission, given you their email address. You do not want to buy email lists. Quite often that will get you in more hot water than it's worth, and you have no way of determining whether or not the graphic region that your customers on your list live in is anywhere near where your store is located. You can do an email list on your own, build an email campaign on your own if you like, or there are services online that take care of things like that for you. A couple of good ones are ConstantContact.com and Campaigner.com. They're both very well versed in what they're doing with email campaigns, and they're able to walk you through it step by step. You want to think about MySpace as a possible place to put some information out there and let the young crowd see who you are and what you do. You might consider something like a blog, where you have an open, ongoing journal of sorts. It's a one-way communication, letting your customers know what's new and what's fresh, and you can update it on a daily basis. Or you may want to consider podcasts, where you're creating an audio file that people can download and then listen to in their own time on their MP3 players or iPods. Then there comes the blank page. Let's say you figured out, okay, here's what I want to do. Now where does all the information come from? When it comes to graphics, you want to go to your vendors first. Quite often they're going to have things like ad slicks or digital art. If you're using a print campaign along with a digital campaign, the ad slicks will fill that gap. The digital art, photographs, graphics, those are things you can use on your website. You want to also ask them about co-op dollars. If you're doing any kind of a print campaign in conjunction with your digital campaign, co-op dollars will sometimes help offset some of the expense there. Co-op ads are ads that your vendors put together and then allow multiple stores to be a part of, so that your name is listed as a dealer. Co-ops can be good and they can be bad. There are some companies that in their ads might include 50 different stores, which means your name will be infinitesimally small and could be sandwiched in between two other stores in your immediate area. Other vendors that are a little more selective decide that for a higher price point, they'll only allow a certain number of stores to buy in, and quite often will also limit how many in a particular region. So you may be part of a full-page ad in Martha Stewart, be one of 12 stores, giving you enormous visibility, although the expense will be considerably higher as a result. You might look at freelance graphic artists as a possible option. Talk to the colleges, see who's in the art department, see if anybody wants to put some work into their portfolio. This is a good opportunity for that, and it gives you something that may be doable at a very low rate. You'll get things that are fresh and creative that nobody has seen somewhere else. Talk to people that work in art supply stores. Because quite often, if you find a really good high-end art supply, they'll know graphic artists that are willing to do work for small business. And again, look online. Quite often you'll see there are a lot of graphic art services available. Although again, you want to be careful about what you're getting and whether or not it's something unique to you or something that's been sold to 15 other retailers in your immediate area. Small marketing firms might be a good resource where you can talk to them and get some help putting together a campaign. If it's a small firm who's also trying to make a name for themselves, you may be able to work out some kind of an in-kind payment, where if they need letterhead and business cards, maybe you can provide that for them, and then in turn, they can help you with your marketing. Small vendors quite often will have a resident artist who may be able to help you. I have a friend in California who's run a spectacular print ad using graphics from one of the lines that she carries. It's a small enough line that the artist was able to provide the art for her, and it's beautiful. It totally fits her store, and the artist is happy to do it. When you talk to somebody about putting graphics and things together like that, you want to be sure that they understand your look. You want them to know who you are, what your image is. If you can give them pictures of your store, pictures of product, some way for them to understand who their client is, that's helpful. You also want to let them know who your customer is so they know what the audience is that they're trying to appeal to. Again, look at the customer feedback cards that we talked about earlier. Bring some of that information in. If you've done a consumer focus group of some type, bring those notes along too. You want to be sure that whoever you're working with in your design work understands the very important differences between designing for internet and designing for press. Quite often, we'll have customers come in that have beautiful business logos, for example, that somebody has designed for their website, but the logos can't be reproduced on an engraving press or a thermography press. So the business cards and letterheads suddenly become an issue, unless they want to go to digital print, and then there's a quality concern and things begin to unravel quickly. You want to be careful that the person you talk to understands both ends of that. Also, be clear about what your needs are. Are you going to be able to provide photos? If you do, are the photos going to need adjustment? And if so, will they be able to do that adjustment for you? Are you going to be the one doing the writing, or are you going to rely on someone else for your words? And again, with the graphics, where are they sourcing from? How can they best be used? Once you begin to answer some of those questions and put some of that information together, you're going to have a really good idea of what your needs are, as will your graphic designer. Getting your act together up front makes it work a lot better on the backside. So again, my name is Cinda Baxter. I thank you for listening. And next up, stick around. We're going to talk about happy cohabitation with your customers. It's about a mailing list. Don't get too excited.